Your morning routine probably sucks. Maybe you've fallen prey to the morning routine dilemma where you either have a sprawling routine loaded with biohacks, trying to optimize every second, but you don't really start doing any actual work until 10 or 11 a.m., or perhaps you have no routine at all. Instead, you wake up, hit snooze, pick up your phone, and lose yourself in an endless scroll, seeing that it's almost 9 a.m. and are now in a rush, stressed to get the day started. You know a morning routine would help, and sometimes you manage to stick to one, but most of the time you skip it because you went to bed later than you wanted, which means you wake up later than you want. Then you have this kind of persistent, nagging guilt about the fact that you're not doing your meditation or your journaling or whatever it is. Sound familiar? I've got a game-changing solution for you. I'll show you how to avoid these mistakes and how to use neuroscience to make your mornings as productive as possible.
What is the point of a morning routine in the first place? Because it's a topic that's both constantly talked about and persistently misunderstood. Many of us have tried those elaborate morning routines: lemon water, yoga, journaling, exercise, affirmations, special coffee blends, ice baths, sunlight, grounding. These routines can take so long that by the time you're done, it's nearly lunchtime and you haven't started any real work. But here's the thing. Some of the most successful people, tech titans, famous startup founders, and billionaires don't obsess over morning routines. You won't hear Elon Musk blaming a bad day running SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitter on missing his foam rolling session or skipping red light therapy. These folks just wake up and get to work. They get it done. So this blew my mind. I decided to test what I was seeing with all these successful folks. I decided I'd start just waking up and working, following their approach. At first, it felt really weird. My morning routine was supposed to give me an edge. So I was nervous. I'd stumble into work and perform poorly, kind of in a groggy, zombie-like state. But right away, I realized that the billionaires were onto something. In fact, it worked shockingly well. I could just wake up and get to work and slip straight into a flow state, a peak state of consciousness where the work I was doing felt effortless. Productivity surged, and hours went by in what felt like minutes. And it turns out, this is due to a concept called flow prone, discovered by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi in the 1970s. Starting your day with immediate work can trigger this state and transform your productivity. Now, flow proneness is simply our tendency to experience a flow state. And that's when everything clicked for me, because the whole point of a morning routine is to boost your productivity. That's the point of a morning routine. But how does a morning routine do this? Well, by increasing your flow proneness. Case in point, cold showers boost dopamine by up to 250% for 2 hours afterward, which plays a key role in focus, which is key for flow. Meditation drives attention into the present moment and improves self-regulation, both being key for flow. Journaling helps clarify goals, and clear goals are a trigger for flow. So all these routines share a common theme. They boost flow proneness. They make us more likely to enter a flow state later in the day, enhancing our productivity. So the real unspoken purpose of a morning routine is to boost flow proneness. But here's the wild thing. Right when you wake up in the morning, when you'd usually be doing your morning routine, if you're a biohacker, your flow proneness is at its peak, naturally and organically highest. And that's for two key reasons. The first is that your cognitive load is low. Think of it like the RAM in a computer. Cognitive load is lowest upon waking up because your conscious mind hasn't yet loaded any tasks or distractions. With less cognitive load we have, the easier it is to access flow. And second, your brain waves are closest to flow upon waking. The neuroelectrical signature or brain waves associated with flow are not far from theta or delta waves, which are the brain waves of sleep. This proximity makes it easier to transition straight from bed into a deep flow state. So, what does this mean for your morning routine? Well, since flow proneness and problem-solving abilities are highest as soon as you wake up, you don't want to cannibalize that prime flow, time, and precious mental clarity that your biology is just giving to you with an elaborate morning routine. The productivity enthusiast often gets bogged down with a series of tasks designed to optimize their day, but ends up losing that critical flow state. It's counterproductive. On the other hand, successful individuals often dive straight into their most important work right after waking up, harnessing their peak mental state. This approach not only propels them towards their goals, but also keeps them in a state of flow, making it a double win. Or does it? Well, after trying this wake up and flow approach for a year, while I was getting tons of work done first thing in the morning, I actually did start to burn out. Many of the billionaire types and successful entrepreneurs I observed were also struggling with similar issues. While they were undoubtedly productive, the picture wasn't as pretty. They were tired, some were overweight, they had lots of bad relationships. Personally, I too started to feel a little tired, a little frazzled, and I missed the calm and clarity that my previous morning routine provided. Practices like meditation, ice baths, yoga, all the usual suspects. So I realized that this approach of waking up and working all morning wasn't quite right either. And here's why. Research reveals flow isn't a simple on-off switch. That flow operates in a cycle with 4 distinct phases, making it more like a dimmer switch. What matters most here is the recovery phase. Flow is expensive for the brain to produce. There's a lot of neurochemistry involved, and because you can expend a lot of energy effortlessly while in flow, it requires recovery in order to access flow again and to flow a second time. So it's no surprise that the billionaire entrepreneur types were burning out. They weren't allowing themselves the necessary recovery time. When it comes to recovery, the biohackers crushed it. Their meticulously optimized morning routines serve as powerful recovery protocols. To strike the right balance, we need to avoid mistakes from both ends of the spectrum. Biohackers often block the morning flow that their biology naturally serves up to them with these elaborate routines, while the entrepreneurial types don't do any elaborate routines and end up burning out. And based on the research, there's a sweet spot between the biohackers' elaborate carry-on and the entrepreneurial type's no-nonsense approach. There's a few steps to this. The first step is to adopt what we call the wake up and flow method. Instead of starting your day with an elaborate routine, wake up and immediately dive into your highest priority work. Not in an hour, not even in 10 or 15 minutes. We're talking within 90 seconds of opening your eyes, while you're still half asleep so that your brain waves are closer to theta or delta. It might be a struggle at first, but within 15 minutes, you'll find yourself deep in flow, fully waking up while working in this flow state. After completing this wake up and flow protocol on our highest priority tasks for 1 to 3 hours, you can indulge in everything that makes you feel great for the rest of the day. Lemon water, stretching, yoga, red light therapy, ice baths, whatever it is. Think of this as the inverted morning routine. Work first, recover later. But remember, never skip the recovery. This isn't just theoretical, it's backed by research and practical experience. So this approach perfectly blends what the biohackers and billionaires bring to the table, solving the morning routine dilemma by harnessing our natural period of flow proneness our biology gives us. And we also recover and boost flow proneness for the rest of the day. Now, here are 2 essential tips that you want to make sure you implement as you pin this new routine down. First, prepare in advance. You need to set the task up the night before in extreme detail so you don't waste any time figuring out what to work on when you wake up. This way, when you're half asleep and we're waking up and going straight to work, we can mindlessly glide right into the task rather than having to wonder about what we should work on, how we should do it, or what materials we need to begin. The second thing is to just make sure that you allocate enough time to really have this long flow block. Aim for 1 to 3 hours of dedicated high priority work to harness flow and take advantage of wake up and flow. This sets a strong tone for your day. Now, I challenge you to actually do this tomorrow. That means tonight, prep the task, prep whatever high priority work you plan to tackle first thing in the morning. Break it down to the first actionable step of the first step. Identify exactly what it is you need to do to complete that task and get everything organized nicely so you can glide right into it. And then tomorrow, as soon as you wake up, ideally within 60 to 90 seconds of opening your eyes, drop into the task. You'll find yourself dropping into flow very quickly and effortlessly. Then ride that wave for 2 to 3 hours. Then do your reboot routine to recover and boost flow proneness back up for the rest of the day. If you want to level up in life, check out this video here.